Good morning, everyone. Welcome to your last day, Friday, July 17th, day 5 for the GIS breakout track. So today we're going to do a wide variety of things, and everything will be located on Google Classroom for you to view. So if you look at the stream on Google Classroom, you'll notice that you should have a new assignment posted, and that'll have everything you need for the day. So if you click on the new assignment, and if you actually go to the instructions, you can see just a really quick introduction to our GIS assignment, which is telling a story through maps. So as we explore today, you're going to get more information on geographic information systems and story mapping. At the very end, you're going to be creating a story map through a tutorial. I'd like you to submit that when you're finished. In addition, we also have a challenge, which is to create your own story map using the guidance that was provided and everything that you learned throughout the day. So you'll see a couple of different resources here. We have our Google Slides, which I will be going over live, and at this point you've already reviewed those with me. We have our Building a Story Map tutorial, and then we have our Telling a Story Through Maps Padlet, which again, we've already explored that during class today, this morning, together. So I'm going to go ahead and open the Building a Story Map tutorial. So this tutorial is a guide. It first starts out telling you about maps and story maps and just gives a little bit of an explanation to follow up with what we've covered in class. So feel free to read through that. And then you can start to see examples of different story maps. So right here we have a nice image. We have a summary map with some points globally, and then we have our story map title, which is the age of megacities. So that title is usually large, and then you'll have a short description, an introduction or summary, and then as you would click through the story map, you would start seeing more information about the age of megacities, interactive maps, links, photographs, videos, and other GIS tools. Different stories can be built or arranged differently, so there are a lot of different templates that you can choose from. So these are just a couple of the different templates that are available, so feel free to read through those. One of the most popular is the tour, because it's very similar to a map guide or a map brochure like you would get at a theme park, where you can see different images and you can actually navigate the map based off of different points of interest. Also brochures that tell you like points of interest in a city, very similar. The journal is also another very popular. It lets you embed a significant amount of text, links, photos, and videos, as well as maps. It's mostly read like you would read a book or a story online. So the first exercise is going to be exploring ArcGIS online story maps. And again, this is step-by-step. It walks you through exploring a gallery and opening up different story maps. So definitely walk through there. As you go through, you're going to have some questions to make sure you're on the right track. So feel free to make sure you're able to answer those questions. And again, this tutorial is about 21 pages. Don't get overwhelmed. It's only about 30 minutes, the entire assignment, if you walk through it. Then you're going to explore a story map of your own choice. You're going to answer some questions, and then you're going to start making a story map web app. So the process of making a story map web app is that first you need to figure out the type of app that matches the story you're trying to tell. So that's those different formats. Again, we went over quickly a map tour and a map journal. Then you need to build the maps for your story. So you can either build the maps directly within your story map, or you can build your web map ahead of time and embed it in your story map. If you were to build your web map ahead of time, you would do that in ArcGIS Online, which I'll briefly walk you through. You then assemble your content, decide on your title, your text, gather your photos. You do all of your work to get all of those different components of your story in one place and easy to find. You then configure your web app, so you will add all of the content that you curated, and you're going to make choices about how it's going to look and whether or not you want tools, GIS tools incorporated. And then the last part is to share your story web app. So the tutorial walks you through an example of creating a 3-adventure story map. So it says, get ready for your adventure. You will use your imagination and a GIS map to take a trip. You will choose from 3 places to visit: a city, a national park, and a country. And again, these are step-by-step directions, so it does walk you through exactly what you need to do. And if you have any trouble along the way, you can feel free to reach out to us, but there are screenshots and detailed step-by-step directions. So once you get through creating your map points and editing your map adventures, you're going to go ahead and get down to the part where you can actually create and share your web app. So to make your story map, you're going to share your map and then create a web app. So it walks you through that share button and what you have to do to share that map and start creating your web app. As I keep scrolling, again, you'll have all of this content. The very last step is going to be how you actually save your story map and how you can get to that URL. The very next part is a challenge: build your own story map. So what I'm hoping is that you can take what you've learned through our Zoom session today and through this demonstration, and you can build your own story map. You can choose from any topic you'd like. It could be a personal story. It could be where you were born, where you moved, where you went to school or worked, where your favorite vacation spot is, where you plan to go to college. It could be something like that in the form of a map tour. It could be focusing on one of the activities you completed during the Young Environmental Stewards Conference. You can choose your favorite one and build off of it. So maybe it's using aquabots or underwater technology to map riverbeds in detail. It could be bird migration patterns and how bird banders are key to understanding some of these patterns. It could also be that you want to look at the health of your own watershed, as you've really dove into your watershed earlier in this week. So when you're done creating your story map, you're going to share back in our Google Classroom your web app URL. So again, you first have to build your web map. So once you know your topic, you have to figure out if you can use an existing web map, which I'll show you how to find, or if you're going to build your own new web map. Then you need to build the actual story map. So the template is going to be important. You have to figure out what works best for your story, start gathering your supplemental information, and start building out those template areas. And then lastly, you share your story map. So what I want to do is I want to shift gears, and I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to open a new tab, and I'm going to go to ArcGIS Online. So it's just www.arcgis.com. And once you get to ArcGIS Online, you have to sign in using the credentials provided. So your username was sent to you in an email, and your password was also sent to you in an email. The first time you sign in, you'll have to change your password. I've already signed in, so it's not going to prompt me to that step, but make sure you write that password down or you keep it in a safe place so you can sign in to ArcGIS Online and Story Maps. So once we go ahead and we sign in, you're going to see a couple of different things. So if I go to my home, when you first sign in, you may see this screen. It's just welcoming you to the Washington College GIS program, and this is our basic organizational page in ArcGIS Online. You can go into Gallery, and this is where you can see all of the content that Washington College GIS program has, and you can see the item type on the left-hand side. So if you're interested in maps for your story map, you can go ahead and just click on maps, and it filters out all of the maps. So if we wanted to use annual average daily traffic, we could use that in a story map. Or if we wanted to look at Mount Rainier Lahar zones, you could look at zones that have potential for volcanic risk for Mount Rainier. So there's a lot of different things that you can do in this area to go ahead and build out your own story map using an existing map. You can also build your own map from scratch. So if you click on the map tab, it's going to open My Map, and you'll see on the left-hand side it lets you choose an area that you'd like to zoom in on. So you could do that, or you can start by adding content. So if you want to add content, you can drop down and you can browse. My favorite is to browse Living Atlas layers. So you can browse Living Atlas layers. And let's say that I wanted to do my map on sea level rise. I'm just going to do sea level for now for a keyword search. So as I'm doing my keyword search, I'm finding a lot of different layers based off of sea level, oceanography, there's even a hurricane, there's contours, there's topography. There's a lot of different data that you can get. So I'm going to do sea level rise inundation above, that's 3 feet above mean high water lines. So I'm going to hit the add button, and I'm able to see that added to my map. I can also zoom into the area of focus that I have, which is going to be the Chesapeake Bay region. So I can start to see, and I can zoom even further into maybe the Eastern Shore area, Chestertown, and we can start to see that data. I'm also going to add the 5 feet inundation, just to see the difference. And I'm going to go hit this back button to get back to my contents. So I flip over to content. So I'm going to go ahead and turn off my 3, and now I see my 5, and I start to see areas, especially in Kent Island area and near the Bay Bridge, that would be inundated at 5 feet above mean high water. So those might be the areas I want to focus on. We also see Eastern Neck National Wildlife Refuge the same way, a lot of that area. So depending on what your story is, you can zoom to any level. Now if you're done, let's say that this is what you want your story map to be, you can go and you can hit save. So I'm going to hit save as. I'm going to call this McMaster sea level rise. My tag's going to be sea level. My summary is map of sea level rise, and I'm saving it in my folder by default. So I'm just going to hit save map. I can always go back and make more edits to this map, add more data, but for now I want to hit share, and I want to go ahead and create a web app. So if I create a web app, I can actually configure a different, all of these different web apps, but I'm going to do build a story map. So when you go to build a story map, these are going to be the different templates that we talked about. So again, the story map tour, if you're doing something about where you lived, where your life was, any of those, you can do a map swipe and spyglass where you can see 2 data sets side by side and then compare them. A story map shortlist is kind of like a photo reel. A story map series, map journal, cascade, and story map basic. So I'm going to go ahead and do a story map journal. And I'm going to do create web app. So again, once you've done your, got your map together, you can go ahead and create a new web app just by hitting share. And it's going to open whatever template you pick. So I can either do a side panel or a floating panel. I'm going to do a side panel, but you could watch a live example of each. And I'm going to hit start. So at this point, you're going to do quite a bit to fill this out. You're going to name your map journal something. So I'm going to name mine sea level rise inundation. And then we have our main stage. So this is where I actually want to use the map that I created. So you see here's my sea level rise map. I can do a lot of custom configurations, but right now I'm just going to hit next. I can add my text and links, so add cool info here. And we see our map populates, and right now I don't have a lot of cool info here. But I could add a picture, again by going back to my main stage. I can add an image if I wanted to, but I want my main stage to be the map. And then on my side panel, again, I can add different, insert an image, web page, so I can upload an image if I'd like to. I'm going to just browse, and I'm going to do pictures. What I'm going to do, I'm just going to go into my backgrounds, and I'm just going to add a really cool image of something that I have. It's not related, but you can at least see. So again, I could have a little introduction, I could have a nice picture, and then from there I could add a section. So I could put, impact on Eastern Neck Wildlife Refuge. And I can either have my section include a map, or I could have an image of Eastern Neck Wildlife Refuge. So, again, I could upload one. And for now, I'm just going to choose another random image that I have. I can arrange what this looks like. I can explain my story, what I'm trying to say, and as you can see now, my image is here. And now you'll see on the left-hand side, I can scroll from my introduction down to the impact. So again, I don't want to take up all of your time in this video, but when you're completely done building your story map, you can hit share. Well, first you want to hit save, so in the upper right-hand side, save. And then you can hit share. And you can either share it privately, so only you can see it, organization, or public. So I'm asking that you share to your organization. And this is the link here that you copy and paste. So Control C, I can hit close, then I can open a new tab and hit Control V, and it's actually going to open the story map directly. So I will be able to open your story map just by having that link. So again, I only spent a few minutes on mine. I'm expecting that you'll spend a lot more time on yours. There's a lot of different training videos and tutorials. So if you go into how to create a story map, Esri story map, and even if you go into videos, there's just going to be a lot of videos, like this one right here, uploaded by Esri, is how to create an OGS story map in under 10 minutes. So again, if you're really having trouble and you're not quite sure where to go or where to start, again, this is, there are a lot of different resources that walks you through. And there's a lot of different ways you can approach story map. So keep in mind of that when you're working through your story map, is that there's not just one right or one wrong. So feel free to utilize any resources you have, and be sure to reach out if you're having any problems at all. Hope you have a great day. Again, we are available. Reach out to us via email, via phone, or on Google Classroom, and we'll make sure you have everything you need. Thanks.